guys, this is Dawn with Furtastic Friends, and today I'm coming to you with another recipe. Today we are making yummy apple pie bread pudding. Oh yes, and with a homemade caramel topping. So let me let you know what you'll need to make this. You will need 8 cups of bread, day-old dry bread. Now I'm using a loaf of brioche that I took out of the freezer that I thought by now would be dried out, but it's now in the oven at 250 degrees to dry out so that it will be ready for my recipe. You also need 3 apples peeled and chopped. You will need 4 eggs, a cup of yogurt, 1 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a half teaspoon of nutmeg. You'll need a half a cup of sugar, and it's optional. I'm choosing not to, but you could also add a half a cup of raisins. And you'll need some cinnamon sugar for the top. Now for the caramel glaze, you will need a cup of butter, 1 cup of heavy cream, and 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, so let's get to making some bread pudding. Okay guys, I've taken my bread out of the oven because it needed to dry out. And now I have gone ahead and taken all of my ingredients except for the apples and the bread, and I've got them in a mixing bowl, and I'm going to give them a good mix. And if you're using raisins, also leave those out until the last step here. So we're going to mix this up really well. Then we're going to fold in our apples. Then we're going to pour this over our bread and fold it in gently. And we're going to let that soak in the bread for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then pour it into a 9 by 13 baking dish that's already been buttered into a preheated 350 degree oven. And then we're going to sprinkle it with some cinnamon sugar on top and bake it for about 30 to 40 minutes. Make sure that you check your oven because everybody's oven is different. Okay, and now I'm going to put in my apples. And now we're going to pour this over our bread. And make sure you get every drop of that yumminess. Okay, and now we're going to start gently moving the bread from the bottom to the top and dispersing the apples. Now I'm letting you know that I used I'll show you the packaging in just a second. That bread was buy one, get one free several weeks ago at a grocery store that I shop at here locally. And when I saw that it was that bread, which is an artisan bread, and one of the loaves was the brioche, I knew immediately that I wanted to make bread pudding. So when I bought it, I immediately stuck it in the freezer to keep it fresh, but also hopefully dry it out for this recipe. Okay guys, now I'm going to put some cling wrap over this, and you need to let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even 20, because you want all of that liquid at the bottom, or most of it, to be soaked up by the bread. You might even want to give it another toss. Then we're going to throw it into a 9x13 dish that's been buttered, sprinkle on some cinnamon sugar, and then we're going to bake it. So when I'm ready to throw it in the oven, I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back, and it looks like most of my liquid has been absorbed. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my bread into this buttered baking dish. Now I let mine sit for about almost 15 minutes, and it absorbed most of the liquid. It really helps if your bread is, dry. Now you don't have to use the brioche like I did. You can use French bread, whatever bread you like. I just happened to come across that buy one get one free bread, and the bread was that Sara Lee's artisan bread, and one of the loaves happened to be the brioche. Okay, I think we're looking good, guys. Okay, now some cinnamon sugar. Oops, I hit the camera. Sorry, guys. Okay, and that's it, guys. 350 degree preheated oven and 30 to 40 minutes. When it's done, I'll be back. Okay, guys. While the apple pie bread pudding is finishing up, we're now going to start on our caramel sauce. So you're going to take your 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 1 cup of heavy cream, and you're going to pour that into a heavy bottomed pan. And on a medium heat, you're going to melt that and bring it to a boil. Not a raging boil, but basically just a light boil. And as soon as it comes to a boil, we're going to turn it down to a simmer and just stir it until it thickens and reduces into a nice thick caramel. I'm might need a whisk for this. I love my little cast iron enamel pot here. I got it at the same time. I don't think it was last Christmas. I think it was the Christmas before. But these are really expensive. I bought the large one, which I think is 6 quarts. Because it was a Christmas one-day sale, and I love that pot. But then they also offered this one on a one-day sale, and I think this is only like one and a half quarts. So I went ahead and bought it, and it's perfect for doing sauces like this when you need a really heavy bottomed pot. Yeah, I think I'm going to need my whisk. So I'm going to put this into the spoon holder. I'm waiting for the butter to melt, and then let it come to a boil. Okay guys, when it gets close to the boil, I'll be back. Okay guys, the butter has melted, and I've been stirring it for the past several minutes, and it's just now starting. It's about to come to a boil. And when it does, I'm going to turn it all the way down to low, to the simmer stage. And then I'm going to continue to stir this probably for at least another 5 minutes or so until it thickens. Okay, there it is. It's boiling. Okay, now down to low. And then just keep stirring this and let it continue to simmer until it thickens. Okay, so not to bore you watching this for the next 5+ minutes, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll be back when it's done. Okay guys, the sauce is almost done. It probably only needs maybe another minute or two, so I'm going to leave it alone. But I'm going to show you the bread I was telling you about. This is the Sara Lee artisanal bakery bread, and I got the brioche, and I used the entire 1 pound 4 ounce loaf. And here is the apple pie bread pudding, just taken out of the oven about 5 or 10 minutes ago. So we're going to let that cool. We're going to let the sauce cool, and then we'll come back just a little bit later and have a taste. Okay, guys, time for a little dessert. I've got me a piece of my apple pie bread pudding, and I'm about to pour a little caramel sauce on it. And let's go in for a little taste. Oh, I can see all the apples. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I saved that brioche to make this. And I'm glad I made it with apples. This would be delicious for brunch. Oh my goodness. Or for like breakfast for Thanksgiving morning or Christmas morning. Oh, and the apples are perfect. Oh, that is so delicious, guys. Oh, okay. I need to take my plate and go finish this off because it is yummy. If you're new to my channel, I hope you'll subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And as always, love, hugs, and kitty kisses. Bye, guys.